Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this team is very, very surprising. I gotta say, I didn't put no money on them personally, but
What is
they've
going on
been,
with
they've
you?
been, they've been, they've been jazzing up the league so far.
Something's
We got
going
the
on with
All-Star,
Utah.
something going on in Utah because they got the All-Star game coming up soon. They might. I thought they were going to get Victor Wembanyama, but they might not now. They 7-3. Let me repeat that, folks. They're 7-3.
Listen, everybody. I
NBA.
told I told Trey 3 games into the season. I said the Jazz need to trade Lauri today if they want to go get Victor. He told me, he said, tell me some teams that that's gonna be worse than the Jazz. I gave him 5 teams easy. It wasn't that hard. They at the bottom right now. We speaking about them. They at the bottom right now. Is this some surprising ones down there at the bottom? Absolutely. But I told them, I said Utah, they got a Celtic coach over there. They got a Celtic GM over there. Danny Ainge knows how to win games and acquire draft assets and do it all at the same time to make it feel like you never were actually rebuilding. You were just constantly retooling. And I feel like he blew up that team, and somehow they're starting as well as they would have if they were completely whole. I'm just saying, Danny Ainge, baby, Danny Ainge.
I think they're overachieving, but it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad the score didn't come up. I just checked the Panthers. Last time I saw, we were down 35-0. I'm not even looking at the scores on ESPN at this point. I just wanted to be a surprise. But the Jazz, do you see them going to the playoffs? Again, it's 10 games in, so it's early.
Play-in is playoffs. I have a question. Is that, are we considering the play-in? Like, could they be?
Well, right now, if the playoffs were to start, they'd be a 2 seed. So I'm going to say playoffs because they playing too damn well for me to say play in. Now they very well could reach play in and fall off heavily, which is what you might assume. But I want to focus on playoffs because again, they're the 2 seed right now, Reese. 2 seed right now.
Let me hear me out, right? So if we're talking their next 5 games, they play the Clippers, Hawks, 76ers, Jazz, Suns, Clippers, and the Warriors. Then they play the Bulls, Pacers, Warriors again, Nuggets, and the Pelicans. And
I just like to remind folks, Warriors are the second from the bottom.
And so all I'm saying is, if they keep winning their next 10 games, everybody heard the teams I rattled off. They could easily be 3-7 in 10 games, or they could be 7-3 again in 10 games. Because those guys, when you really think about it, they have a literal bull in Colin Sexton. Lauri Markkanen is playing out of body right now, okay?
He's not playing that much better than when he did his second season on the Bulls, bro. Like, people are acting like he's just playing that much better. Like,
it's not his numbers, Trey. That's what I'm saying. You're focusing too much on his numbers. I'm talking about if you watch the Jazz games, it's the way he's carrying himself. I feel like he's trying to solidify himself not only as a leader, but he wants to kind of like stay in Utah, focus on his game, and really take a step. You know what I mean? And he doesn't really care who comes in. Like, you could probably draft somebody at that man's position next year, and he wouldn't lose any sleep over it. Like, I feel like at this point in his career, because guys really do reach that point where it's like, man, I just want to hoop. Like, put me out there, coach. I'm gonna hoop. I ain't got nothing to lose. I have no expectations, and that is the scariest thing. The scariest. They say, you know what I mean. Whenever you play somebody in chess, it's their first time you got a chance to lose because they don't know what they're doing. they don't have no expectations. They don't have no expectations. They're out there just moving, and I just feel like that's what he's doing now. Everybody on that team, honestly, I feel like everybody's just out there. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk, Lowry. You got guys out there who could really. They're a trade away from probably not being on the team again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we just out here to hoop.
That's tough.
Mike Conley, if Mike Conley were to get moved on his big contract and play another season, where would he go after that?
He could go to places. Hell, he could come to the Lakers. Like a lot of teams would love to take Mike Conley.
But you know why? They're not gonna take him because they're not gonna take him though, because Danny gonna hold on to him. Because Danny know how to acquire assets.
If he brings him back for a smaller deal, then I'd be surprised. Because if I'm Mike Conley, I'm thinking I can win a championship somewhere else. It's not going to be in Utah. It's not going to be. But like you said though, that over the next 10 games, we got a whole bunch of good teams that they got to play. So we don't see if they come out ahead, like if they're like 6-4 or greater over the next 10 games, we might have to consider putting Utah as contenders. Like we might have to.
I mean,
that's a.
I'm trying to think of a comp of a team that they would be with their current makeup. That, I mean, you know what? Honestly, and this is
anything.
Well, this isn't even a legit comparison, right? But like that Charlotte Hornets team that Bron kind of used to just spank on every time he saw them in the playoffs, and why Kemba would never get a win against them. Like I just feel like they could get to the playoffs and like get swept.
That Hornets team rode Kemba like where Kemba went is where they went, and this team has Lauri, it has JC. Like both of those players have been balling. That's what
I mean, the only other team would be like the Hawks, but they're not. Everybody ain't going to be an all-star.
But that's why I was actually trying to say the Hawks, but you're not going to have that situation because again, you can make the argument that all of them did not deserve to be all-stars. Like only two of them could have been all-stars. So it's like that could be this situation here too. Like if the Jazz are a really high-rated team this season, ranking team, you can throw two people from this squad to the All-Star team. How much they play?
Lauri and
Clarkson, because they're right now. Those are their two best players. They're the most productive players. They're the most impactful players. So I mean, like Conley, cool, but I wouldn't put him in as an All-Star.
Right. Did he make the All-Star team last year?
Because
it
was wild. So, but again, that's like a Kyle Korver situation. Like Korver, nice, all-star worthy though. Like, all right, he got a case, but like there's other people you could put in there. So I think of them as that Hawks team. So they could finish the season pretty high. But again, like you said, the next 10 games, we'll find out a lot about this Hawks team. Maybe not this Hawks team, this Jazz team.